Today we'll be talking about the AWS iOS SDK and how to create a unique user experience and meaningful user analytics with this SDK. We'll go over, have a brief overview, some goals, problem statement, technologies and services, and then a brief demo. And finally, to wrap up, we'll have a summary and then have a retrospective look on the results that are found. The AWS iOS SDK is just one of many mobile SDKs that Amazon has to help developers build mobile apps by allowing them direct access to the AWS services with these libraries. These libraries have various documentations for various devices and platforms. The iOS SDK deals specifically with Apple's mobile operating system and iPad. I'm going to be concentrating on combining various AWS technologies and services with existing social network APIs to create this unique user experience that we can also gain meaningful analytics from. The goal is to gain an understanding of how to use the AWS iOS SDK, which can provide a unique user experience while interacting with various services in the AWS cloud and recording them for analytics purposes. Overall, I'd like to know how to use the number of services that AWS iOS SDK offers in conjunction with one another to build an app. I'd like to concentrate on how to use the SDK service to provide a unique user experience while granting the developer insightful reporting information. There'll be some various technologies that I'll be using on Amazon Web Services, such as AWS Cognito, which allows us to create unique identifiers for users and authenticate them for secure access into the app and other resources. In particular, we'll be using the Twitter and Facebook API in conjunction with Cognito to allow users to log in and establish sessions within the app by accessing the user IDs. It allows further insight and consistent experience from account to account. We'll also be using the S3 service, which will be a simple image file storage service for our app. DynamoDB is just a NoSQL database that we'll be using to store information about text and notes that are associated with images in the app. And then throughout the app, we'll also have mobile analytics, which will be recording various custom events that we'll be writing in the demo. To start the demo, I'm going to show you a bit on how to install the pods. The pods are actually what installs or what encapsulates the AWS SDK. So first, generally you run, when I first installed this, sudo gem install CocoaPods, which installs the CocoaPods framework. I'm not going to do that since I've already done that, but what I am going to do, and I want you to notice that this is the project that I'm going to be working with. You can see here that it's missing its pods project. I'm in the directory of the workspace, and you can see that I have a pod file. So I'm going to be on pod file. You can see that I have my Xcode project, which I would like to compile it with, and then a list of SDKs that I'm going to be importing. As you can see, I'm going to have the mobile analytics, DynamoDB, S3, Cognito, and a few others. So in order to run the pod and install them, you run pod install, which grabs the pod file and then installs all the necessary SDKs that you asked for. So while it does take a little bit, I want to kind of walk you through here our storyboard. So storyboards are your views in Xcode. You can see I have my navigation controller, my login screen, which then queues to my save files, which is my main screen, and then I have my supplemental screen such as my notes, and then I have a screen that overlays while I'm creating a database. A lot of the times this create test table will not be shown since the table's already been created earlier. Let's check on our pods. All right. All right. So now it's re-indexing, looking for the pods project, I believe. Well, while that's running, go ahead and jump into the AWS Analytics. So what I'm going to be coding today is the wrapper for the AWS module, mobile analytics module. Be writing a class that will wrap that SDK to make it a little bit easier to use. So first I'm going to create a static, create a shared instance, of this analytics. I actually have some of this code pre-prepared already, so I'm going to get some of the basics in there. Analytics. And we're going to create an event. So we're going to create a variable called event type. Set it as an optional string. For those of you who aren't familiar with Swift, an optional is a nil or a value. So we're going to set a new value. If event to our internal otherwise we're going to get inside. Alright, so this sets up our event as a setter and getter, and now we're going to also do an action as well. So var action. I'm going to go ahead and copy this for the sake of time. And then we're also going to create a function record event, which will actually record our events in here. We're going to make sure that there is an event type. It does not equal new. And we're going to let the event and get the event to record. And also the event client. Hope I can spell. Find client dot create event and then self dot event type. Then you can also have the action. So, but you aren't required to have an action for a given event. So we're going to wrap this as well. Since we know we're going to set that there for key, we're just going to call this the action. And then once all that's done, we're going to call our event client, our record event, and then we're going to set the event to record. And then we're going to submit our event. We're just going to log this. That way we can make sure that we actually see what event is being recorded. Otherwise, we're just going to print an error just to let whoever know. Just let them know that they need to set an event before they can record one. So, let's see here. So now, I decided to see if I could build this. See if I could show you guys basics. Before we do that, let's go ahead and add some analytics to our files. So we're going to add one in the app delegate, which is called when the app loads. And we're going to say let analytics. AWS analytics. And we're going to set the event type equal to launched app. And then we're going to record the event. We're also going to add this to a few more as well. Let's see, it's been logged in. Add this here. So see if you've logged in and see actually what type type of login it was. And this will help us see what type. This also actually led me to see the discrepancy in the Cognito as well. So hopefully you have better luck debugging that than I did. I found this to be much more reliable than that. So we're also going to get the shared instance. I created a user type that will actually fetch the user type for us. And then we're going to record that event. So let's actually run this and let's see what we got. So here's our AWS iOS SDK sample. I'm going to kind of walk you through things real quick as I go through. Hopefully my computer doesn't fry. Oh. So that happened because I was playing around with my directory. You can see here, and I have none. So I'm going to delete the directory. And then I'm going to fire this back up. Should be okay. So this won't happen to you because I've been testing and trying to prep for the demo and forgot to delete a directory. So you guys shouldn't have a problem with that. So what this was doing is trying to fetch all of the static lists, or all the objects that are in the S3 bucket. So as you go through, I'll kind of explain what's going on. Besides that, it's just not running. Well, I can kind of explain what's going on here. Let's put this to the side. See, hopefully it can get up and running. So I set up a Cognito to log in. Cognito demo here. Make sure that we're logged in before we leave to go. To the next screen. And it's all in the login manager. Some of this code's taken from the sample, but modified it quite a bit. So that way it's more usable for this application to use. So when you log out, actually, we delete all the files that you downloaded. Not sure why this isn't running. I'm just going to fire up another one. Hopefully it comes up. And then our S3, after you log in, you now have access to upload and download any images. So we try and see if you have anything downloaded locally and on the S3 bucket. And then we download them, a bunch of display. Oh, here we go. So yeah, as you can see, I'll log out first. You get a nice login screen. We're going to log in with Facebook. So Facebook will log in. Ask me sign in. It's already authorized, so I hit OK. Open it up. And now I'm logged in. Now I'm going to upload a photo. So we're actually going to upload this adorable little puppy. Who doesn't love puppies? Oh, there's the puppy. We're going to add a note to the puppy. So this is where the DynamoDB comes in. So the note is associated with the image. So we're going to say this is an adorable puppy. Absolutely. And then we're actually going to log out now to see it go away. So once you log out, we're going to go back in with Facebook. Oh, you can see that something's here. So let's go ahead and download this puppy. No pun intended. Now we're going to actually download another file. So as you can see here, you have the progress bar of the upload. Fortunately, my upload speed is not as fast as my download speed, so it's going to take a little bit. But once that's all set, you can see that the note is still intact with this puppy. And that's the basis of it. And when we logged in, you got to remember that we also added those analytics. So we're going to take a look at those as well. And we signed in with Facebook, so we're going to also see if we can see that as in addition in the mobile analytics. So now let's see if the note's still there, and there it is. It's still this adorable little puppy. So that's it for the demo of the code. We could add more logging if we wanted to, such as adding a note. There's inserting a note here, so we could always add information here, telling us whether they inserted a note or updated a note. So this actually, I believe, already has an analytics module, or analytics object, so let's access that. And then we're going to next set the event type to note insert update. And then we're actually going to do a switch on this action called self.viewType. So this tells us what kind of action we're going to do. Case type.insert. If it's that, then we're going to set the self analytics action equal to insert. And you can do this for update and other ones as well. Let's go take a look to see if those analytics are up yet. Stop that. Alright, so Analytics Manager I have over here. Let's see here. Let's go to Launched App. See all. You can see you have the login, upload file, download file, and adding note, and you can see I'm in this. Let's see, it might not be here yet. But you can see that I did launch the app, and you can see the testing and stuff that we've done today with this. So it does take a little bit for these to show up. So that's it for the demo. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that demo. In summary, the AWS iOS SDK provided a great deal of documentation which assisted in creating a custom application with some unique qualities, such as storing notes and recording some analytics, as you guys saw. Also, using some of the challenges of using the iOS SDK was that the AWS Cognito and integrating it with Twitter and Facebook seemed to correctly record sign-ins some of the time, as seen on the Incognito dashboard, as I alluded to already. And the mobile analytics does not offer real-time analytics where you can see an active number of users on any given minute. In retrospect, the AWS iSDK was very effective and allowed for quick integration into an app. The SDK is easier, simpler, and more cost-efficient than the alternative of creating web services which interact with the database, remote file system, and session management system. All these interactions, which are done directly from the client, result in faster response times, less code to maintain, and eliminates the need for these web services. The primary issue was with discovering real-time analytics. So if given the opportunity to build another app, I would use Google Analytics SDK instead. Thanks, and hope you enjoyed.